Hello listeners, and welcome to this week's recording of Boomerang. Team 3 is here, and my name is Jim, and your other readers are...
Ferine,
Nan,
and Ray. Andrew is our engineer tonight, and he'll be doing the recording, and Ray will be doing the copying and distribution. The news this week is taken again with permission from the West Lothian Courier dated Thursday the 8th of January, and we are recording this on the 8th of January. Any little anecdotes would be taken from the Reader's Digest, again with their permission. And as usual, the recording this week has been divided into 4 sections. And right at the start, can I remind you that when you have listened to the whole recording, please post your wallet back to us from a post box and not from the post office. So, let's get started. We'll start the first section with some general news.
company warns of public phone deadline. The clock is ticking and the countdown is on. In January 2027, BT Openreach will shut down the public switch telephone network, the technology behind analogue landline phones. But with just 12 months remaining until the big switch-off, the digital experts at West Lothian-based Workflow Solutions are warning some businesses are woefully underprepared for this landmark change. The PSTN switch-off has been deemed necessary because the network of traditional copper lines is no longer equipped to handle the demands of today's advanced digital world. Bandwidth limitations restricts its ability to support features such as video conferencing and data sharing, crucial tools for modern businesses. And maintaining this aging infrastructure has become increasingly expensive and impractical. Any equipment that currently uses the PSTN will stop working in January 2027. From phone lines to security alarms, door entry systems to CCTV, any technology that relies on the old copper lines will be affected. And so, businesses across the UK have been urged to move to a single digital internet protocol, IP for short. That primarily uses full fibre connections. Commenting ahead of the switch-off, Workflow Solutions Managing Director Michael Field said, "For sectors heavily reliant on traditional telephony, such as healthcare, telecare and security, it is essential that their critical services remain uninterrupted while alternative solutions are implemented. They need to act now to ensure a smooth transition to digital technologies."
golden ticket. Footy fanatic Aaron Wilson literally leapt for joy after receiving a golden ticket for Christmas to the World Cup. The 9-year-old from West Lothian was stunned to find a ticket for Boston after Dad Stuart and Mum Kerry agreed to splash out for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to the States to join the Tartan Army. Aaron's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory moment means he will travel to the USA with Stuart, where he will catch Scotland's games against Morocco and Brazil. Stuart said, "It was great to watch him opening the package, knowing what was inside, and knowing it would be a big surprise for him. It was a bit of a golden ticket moment, and the family all enjoyed it." Stuart also told how he'd promised Aaron they'd take the big trip to the USA ahead of the Denmark game in November, which the Scots famously won 4-2, sparking national celebrations. But after he and Kerry had a look at hotel airfares and ticket costs, they had a reluctant rethink, then finally took another U-turn back to taking the trip with his son. He said, "I told Aaron that if we beat Denmark, we'd go to the World Cup. Then I had a look at the cost and thought it might be a bit too much. So I then had to have another conversation with him, telling him the trip might be out of reach and he'd have to wait until Scotland qualified for a tournament closer to home. I expected a petulant response, as you might get from a 9-year-old, but he was great. He just accepted it and said he understood, even though I think he was holding back the tears. Stuart had told Aaron he might fly to Boston without him, to which his son replied, "You'll probably have a better time without me, Dad." Stuart said that was a bit heartbreaking, and I think I knew then what was the right thing to do. Aaron had been unwell on Christmas Day, but the video shows his joyful response when he realises what his big pressie is. He had originally been delighted to open his package to find a Scotland top and full tracksuit. The blue card prepared by Kerry, placed under the clothes, mocks up an airline ticket and tells him he's flying to Boston and Miami with Scotland. A personal message from Stuart on the back says, "Aaron, I couldn't go without you. We're going to the World Cup." He said, "I could get away from the fact I'd made a promise. So the end result is that I'll be taking him to Boston and then on to Miami, and we really can't wait. The trip will cost a fortune, but we decided it would be worth making a big dent in our savings because there will be memories that will last a lifetime, no matter what happens in the tournament." Stuart, 35, said he and Aaron don't yet have tickets and are awaiting the outcome of the big FIFA ballot. He said, "That element is up in the air and I'm hoping we get sorted, so it's fingers crossed." Aaron, who plays for the local team Blackburn United 2016 team, said, "I'm really excited about going to the World Cup, and it's like a dream come true. I didn't know what I would be getting on the day, but it's the best Christmas ever."
Wee Whiskey owner found dead on hike. Father of 2, Andrew, dies day after his 41st birthday. A West Lothian business owner tragically died suddenly on a mountainside on Hogmanay, a day after celebrating his 41st birthday. Father of 2, Andrew Ewer, was lead singer of Falkirk band The Ray Summers, who supported Paola Nutini and Doves. He was reported missing after going for a hike on Benvein near Loch Lomond, and a mountain rescue team discovered his body shortly before the bells. Andy's partner, Lindsay Waddell, 40, led online tributes to him. She wrote, "On your birthday, you wanted to look at the stars with me. Little did I know the next day you would be one of those stars. You were my guiding light and the biggest star of all." Brother David added, "On Hogmanay, Andy was buzzing about what 2026 had in store for us, but firstly about getting out for a hill walk in all his new birthday gear." So many people have lost a part of their world as he meant so much to so many. Heartbroken doesn't even come close. Entrepreneur Andy was a co-founder of the annual Vibration Music Festival in his hometown, which was rebranded Falkirk Fest last year. He also owned the Wee Whiskey shop in Linlithgow and a cafe in Grangemouth. The Wee Whiskey shop said, "It is with profound sadness that we share the news that one of our directors, Andrew Ewer, passed away on December the 31st, 2025. Words cannot fully express the pain of this loss, and our thoughts are with Andrew's family at this incredibly difficult time.
Thank you to everyone who's already reached out with their kind messages and condolences. Falkirk Whisky Club added, very sad news that our founder Andy Ure passed away on Hogmanay. Andy was a force of nature, irreplaceable, and will be sorely missed. Andy and I met through our shared love of whisky, and many, many whisky friends have reached out over the last couple of days as news filtered through, and overwhelmingly send their love to his family. Andrew's passing has been described as a huge loss to the Scottish music scene, Ross Coots said. Incredibly sad news. Was an honour to work with the Ray Summers on various occasions where he really had something special for a frontman. Was great seeing his business ventures, including festivals, go from strength to strength in recent years. A huge loss to the Scottish music scene. Thinking of all Andrew's friends and family. Fellow musician Stevie Jukes said, shocked and saddened to hear about the passing of Andrew Ure. When I started our last band, the Ray Summers were one of the best bands around and one we truly looked up to, with Andy front and centre as one of the finest frontmen in the country. Over the last few years, Andy was so kind to message regularly, chatting about music and whisky. I hope you're having a dram with the big man upstairs, Andy. R.I.P. A Police Scotland spokesman said, around 7 p.m. on Wednesday, December the 31st, 2025, we received a report of concern for a hill walker missing on Benvane near Arrochar. Officers and Arrochar Mountain Rescue Team attended and traced the 41-year-old man, who was pronounced dead at the scene. There are no suspicious circumstances and a report will be submitted to the Procurator Fiscal. The Ray Summers were festival regulars in the noughties and supported Paolo Nutini at Glasgow's 2008 Hogmanay celebrations.
Work plea from sight loss mum. A visually impaired West Lothian mum is calling for change after her sight loss left employers unwilling to take her on. Amanda Whitfield, 35, was diagnosed with Stargardt disease in 2016. Amanda has been keen to work and has kept active through martial arts and volunteering, and has strong experience on paper. However, she's found herself leaving interviews and not hearing back. She feels employers assume she won't be able to do the job. The Royal National Institute for Blind People Scotland, RNIB, have been supporting Amanda as she seeks work, and she recently completed barista training and a short-term paid placement in a coffee shop. Amanda is now pushing for accessible and inclusive employment for people with sight loss, feeling there's a job out there for everybody. Speaking on her own experience, Amanda told Edinburgh Live, I was diagnosed with Stargardt disease back in 2016 when I was 26. But I started noticing it more when I was on maternity leave with my daughter. I want to work, though. I've kept proactive with doing martial arts with her and volunteering. But there hasn't been an employer willing to take me on once I've told them I have sight loss. On paper, my experience is strong, but when I get to interviews and let them know I have a visual impairment, suddenly I don't hear back. I don't want to hide it because there are simple things they can do to make a role accessible. It starts by talking to me and asking me what I need, not by assuming I won't be able to do the job. Amanda has been working with the RNIB, who help give blind and partially sighted job seekers experience and training for skills and workplace confidence. She added, the training was really good. I don't need any adaptations, but you've got to be aware of safety, like the coffee running through the machine quickly. The wee screen that tells you is hard to see, but I started to recognise it, and our trainer was phenomenal, with amazing understanding and patience. Getting around on public transport can be disorientating, especially on darker winter days. When you've got a little one too, you feel even more vulnerable. Employers just need to understand that sometimes extra understanding and flexibility can make a big difference. Despite the barriers, Amanda remains determined. She continued, "I genuinely think there's a job out there for everybody. Blind and partially sighted people just need to be given the chance." James Adams, director of RNIB Scotland, adds, "Stories like Amanda's highlight a desire to work, but a lack of employer understanding. We can help employers ensure their recruitment processes are accessible, understand workplace adjustments, and engage with blind and partially sighted candidates fairly. These steps can make a real difference to blind and partially sighted people like Amanda."
On the beat. New Area Commander tells all on his career in the force. It is with both pride and pleasure that I write this column to introduce myself as the new local area commander for West Lothian. As a probationary constable commencing my service in Pennycook, Midlothian, almost 23 years ago, May 2003 to be exact, there was never a thought I would, one day, carry this responsibility and privilege to serve the communities of the Lothians and Scottish borders in such a role. But here I am, back in West Lothian. A solid foundation in response policing served me well, experiencing the demands and expectations of Pennycook, Dalkeith, Newbattle and Gore Bridge, before moving into the world of proactive and covert policing roles, latterly with the Scottish Crime and Drug Enforcement Agency. A return to local policing quickly followed by a promotion to sergeant. Again, saw my service within response, community and funded team roles within Midlothian. My next promotion was as a response inspector to West Lothian, where I spent one of the most enjoyable and demanding periods of my career to date. I've moved next on to the area control room in Bilston, where I performed the roles of initial tactical firearms commander, deputy local area commander, before receiving promotion to chief inspector and taking up the local area commander's role there. Prior to circling back to West Lothian, I have spent the last 12 months in a corporate-based role, but I am now returning to where my passion and drive in a policing context lie, the front line. I have experienced firsthand the demands, community spirit and expectations on the local police service that West Lothian has. My first intention is to continue and build on the magnificent work conducted by my predecessor, Elaine MacArthur-Kerr, to deliver the best possible service to communities who are deserving of no less. The biggest lesson I have learned in policing, however, is the key to providing the service is through working together with partners and communities, listening to their requirements and responding accordingly. An agile response police approach supported by a strong community policing footprint will allow us to continue to deliver a high-level service and focus on apprehending those who harm our communities while supporting our most vulnerable people. in my years in service, we have come a long way as a society at tackling priority areas to keep our communities safe. But with the echoes a busy festive period still ringing clear, it is evident there are still challenges that remain. I have a keen focus on violence, particularly violence against women and girls, missing persons, acquisitive crime, and the welfare and well-being of my officers. Too often the victims of violence and abuse themselves, whilst trying to conduct their duties and keeping our communities safe. These and many more matters will no doubt provide a significant challenge during my tenure, but one I look forward to, as well as seeing the positive impact my policing team can have for you all. I wish you a healthy and prosperous 2026. And there is a picture. The new area commander is Chief Inspector Dougie Grieve.
Trio begin the new year with royal rewards. The King's New Year Honours List has been announced and 3 West Lothian residents were recognised. Uphall's Gail Drummond received her MBE for services to social enterprise. This is due to her work as Chief Executive of Firstport, an Edinburgh-based charity which helps budding social entrepreneurs turn their ideas into reality. Gail joined Firstport in 2014 and has held several roles within the organisation, leading on key work strands including operations, finance, people development and resourcing. Prior to joining Firstport, Gail worked in the public sector of the City of Edinburgh Council and latterly as Legacy Manager at the Glasgow 2014 Commonwealth Games, with both roles focused on using the power of sport to create social change and positive impact. Gail took up the role of CEO in September 2022. She represents the group in national and international forums and liaises with the Scottish Government on sector outcomes. Gavin Mann from Blackburn also awarded an MBE in recognition of his public service with the Department of Work and Pensions as Data Lead for Retirement Services. West Lothian's Lord Lieutenant Moira Niven, MBE, said, "Congratulations to both Gail Drummond and Gavin Mann on their Members of the Order of the British Empire Award. Both have made a significant contribution to our society, and it's wonderful to see them honoured by the King in this way." Provost of West Lothian, Cathy Muldoon, added, "It's fantastic to see 2 West Lothian residents recognised in the New Year 2026 honours lists. On behalf of the people of West Lothian, I'd like to commend both Gail Drummond and Gavin Mann on the richly deserved honours." Meanwhile, Anne Pike has also been recognised for her service to the community and third sector in West Lothian with a BEM. She has played a pivotal role in advancing the strategic and operational success of the third sector in West Lothian for nearly 20 years, serving as a volunteer trustee, and has served for almost 12 years as Chair of Carers of West Lothian, where she is a passionate advocate for carers' rights and has contributed to both West Lothian and Scotland's carer strategies. She has also been a driving force at Voluntary Sector Gateway West Lothian, serving as a trustee for nearly a decade, and served as Head of Business Development at Quality Scotland. She is widely regarded as an invaluable asset to the third sector in West Lothian and beyond, Anne, who lives in Livingston, is also a member of the Council's citizen-led inspection and a member of the Council's Governance and Risk Committee. Anne said, "I feel very honoured and privileged to receive this award. I have long valued the work of the third sector, both through my employment and volunteering, and have always sought to support organisations to become stronger and more sustainable so that more people, especially unpaid carers and disabled people, can access the support they rightly deserve." Leader of West Lothian Council, Lawrence Fitzpatrick, said, "On behalf of everyone at West Lothian Council, we were delighted to hear that Anne had been recognised in the King's New Year's Honours list. She is well known to many of us at the Council, and her support and advice is always welcomed. She richly deserves her BEM for all the work she does to support unpaid carers and disabled people in West Lothian." Secretary of State of Scotland, Douglas Alexander, said, "My warmest congratulations go to all of the Scottish recipients of His Majesty's New Year's Honours. Scots, the length and breadth of the country, have been recognised for their contribution to politics, business, the arts, science, and to their communities. The list is packed with local heroes who strive every day to tackle disadvantage. I congratulate all those who work so hard, day in, day out, to make our communities better places to live and work."
Cops appeal as vehicles are stolen. Police have appealed to the public for help after 3 vehicles were stolen in West Lothian. 3 flatbed Ford Transit vans were taken in Whitburn around 10:25 p.m. on Friday, January the 2nd, when thieves gained entry to Blaeberry Cemetery. Officers are seeking witnesses who may have dashcam or CCTV footage. They also hope to speak to anyone who may have seen the vehicles. 2 have been recovered, but the third, described as a white Ford Transit 350 Leader Eco Tipper, registration BJ73ORT, remains missing. A Police Scotland spokesperson said, "Detectives are appealing for witnesses after 3 vans were stolen from a yard in Whitburn. 3 flatbed Ford Transit vans were taken from a compound at Blaeberry Cemetery after entry was gained to the site on Blaeberry Road around 10:25 p.m. on Friday, January the 2nd, 2026. 2 of the vans have since been recovered nearby, but 1 remains outstanding. This vehicle is described as being a white Ford Transit 350 Leader Eco Tipper, registration BJ73ORT. It's believed the vehicle may have been driven on the B718 Hart Hill Road a short time after the theft, near to the crossroads of Hart Hill Road and Blairmuckle Road. Detective Constable Lee Manderson said, "We would be keen to speak to anyone who believes they may have seen any of the stolen vehicles being driven in the area late on the evening of Friday, January the 2nd. 1 of the vehicles remains outstanding, and we would urge anyone who thinks they may have seen it to get in touch. We would also be keen to speak to anyone who may have dashcam or private CCTV footage from the area. Anyone who can help is asked to call 101, quoting reference 0698 of 3rd of January 2026, or to call Crime Stoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111.
Booking boom for travel agents. A Livingston travel agent says it is expecting a booking boom this weekend as people rush to secure their 2026 getaways. The first Saturday of January, after people return to work, is typically the most popular day of the year for travel bookings, as people look ahead and start planning holidays. Many families will be hoping to lock in travel deals for the school, summer, Easter and October holiday periods, and to take advantage of low deposits and Kids Go Free offers. On the back of the group's third consecutive record-breaking sales in 2025, Barrhead Travel is anticipating high demand over the coming weekend. Last year, Sunshine Saturday resulted in a record-breaking performance for the travel firm, resulting in its most successful January in the company's history. The group has reported that demand for summer getaways has been gaining momentum since after Christmas, with the most popular Scotland destinations so far for 2026, including Tenerife, Majorca, Canada, Dubai and Gran Canaria. James Devine, Livingston store manager for Barrhead Travel, said, "With 2025 in the rear-view mirror, many people have already started thinking about making their holiday dreams a reality. January remains one of the best times of year to book a holiday, and we expect this year to be no different. We've noticed that people have already been booking earlier than usual. At the close of 2025, bookings for summer 2026 were already up compared to the same period last year. There is definitely an appetite for spreading the cost over monthly payments as well, as people keen to secure their first choice of accommodation. Ultimately, holidaymakers want value for money and to make sure that their trips are fully financially protected, which is why we continue to see a return to the high street travel agents." And that's the end of part one. We'll have a wee break and we'll be back with part two very shortly. Welcome back to part two, and we'll start part two with the intimations, and I'm afraid the intimations in this week's courier are both deaths. David Oliphant, 21/5/1942 to 24/12/2025. Peacefully at home on Wednesday, the 24th of December 2025, David, beloved husband of Elizabeth and a treasured dad and grandpa, will be sadly missed by all. Wallace Margaret Gray Jameson, formerly McLennan, 10/3/1927 to 18/12/2025. Passed away peacefully on Thursday, 18th of December, at the Birches Care Home in Crieff. Loving wife of the late Bill, much loved mum to Sandra, grandmother to Elena and Kirstine, and great-grandmother to Tamsin and Melissa. And that's the only two intimations in the courier. So we'll carry on with some more news.
Crafternoon Tea Club to be held at Doby's. Doby's Garden Centre is inviting customers along to an afternoon of creativity, connection and cake this January, with a brand new Crafternoon Tea Club at its Livingston store. This hands-on event takes place on January the 24th and 25th, offering a beginner-friendly, cosy and mindful experience. During the 90-minute afternoon workshop at the Livingston store, attendees will get the chance to try their hand at a punch needle kit. The kit is a wildlife design with everything you need to get started, whether trying a new hobby for the very first time or honing in on skills. During the crafting experience, there will be a delicious 3-tier afternoon tea. The first tier includes a selection of freshly made finger sandwiches on a mix of white and grain bread with soft cheese and cucumber, ham, rocket and red onion, chutney, prawn, and egg and watercress. Dobie's famous scones can be enjoyed on the second tier, with plain and fruit options, served with Cornish clotted cream and a mini pot of jam. The top tier offers a delicious selection of sweet treats, including a mini Victoria sponge, lemon mousse, meringue kisses, and coconut and cherry macaroons. For those wanting to add a savoury twist, there is the option to add on a sharing plate of additional treats, including chicken terrine on brioche toast, hummus and olives in a filled pastry cup, and smoked salmon and dill on brioche toast for £8.50. Hot drinks can also be upgraded if people prefer a speciality coffee, tea, or an indulgent hot chocolate for just 50p extra, or opt for a 200ml bottle of Prosecco for £6.50 per adult, age 18 and over. Aisha Nixon, Events Programme Manager at Dobie's, said this brand new Crafternoon Tea Club at her Livingston store is aimed at bringing people together to slow down and get creative. We've designed the workshop to be a relaxing, beginner-friendly experience, and it's a great way to spend time with friends and family members. Whether you're looking to treat yourself or gift an experience this Christmas, our Craft Afternoon Tea Club is the perfect present. For more information and to make a booking, visit www.dobies.com/events.
MSP will back new campaign. Almond Valley MSP Angela Constance has backed the It's Scotland's Energy campaign, the SNP's plan for Scotland's energy if the country become independent. A paper launched by First Minister John Swinney at the start of December claimed electricity bills for households in Scotland could be reduced by over 1/3 through the creation of a distinct Scottish electricity market. It also stated that communities would be given the right to own a stake of up to 20% in local renewable projects, giving them meaningful returns from energy infrastructure in their own area, and Scottish businesses would also benefit from lower electricity costs, a policy with the potential to be transformative for the Scottish economy. The campaign echoes the famous It's Scotland's Oil campaign of the 1970s, which set out a vision for what Scotland could do with its oil wealth in the event of independence. Miss Constance said, "I am proud to back the It's Scotland's Energy campaign. Scotland has won the energy lottery, not just once with oil, but twice with our vast renewable energy potential. Countries like Norway have managed their natural resources far better than the UK has done on Scotland's behalf. Norway invested its oil wealth into what is now the world's largest sovereign wealth fund, worth around $2 trillion, and is using it to support the transition to renewables. Scotland, however, has not reaped the full benefits of our oil wealth, and we cannot afford to repeat that mistake with renewables. Using Scotland's energy for Scotland's people can bring down bills for households and businesses and help transform our economy. But it is only with the full powers of independence that we can make this happen, which is why I'm asking people to vote SNP next year to put Scotland's energy in Scotland's hands."
Big full fibre boost to homes and businesses. More than 6,200 homes and businesses in Whitburn now have access to full fibre, but thousands have yet to make the switch, despite the potential for faster and more reliable broadband. The £1.8 million investment by Openreach has brought gigabit-capable broadband to around 90% of properties in the area. However, many are yet to switch, prompting calls for residents to check their eligibility for upgrading. Full fibre technology allows for smoother streaming, faster downloads and more stable connections, particularly important for households with multiple devices or for those working from home. People living in Whitburn can see if they can upgrade to full fibre by visiting Openreach's Full Fibre Checker. Robert Thorburn, Openreach Partnership Director for Scotland, said, "Most of Whitburn is covered by full fibre, but many residents and businesses haven't yet made the switch. It's not automatic. You need to place an order with your chosen provider. The difference in speed and reliability can be significant, especially for busy households or people working from home. We want to make sure everyone knows what's available and how to get it." Openreach is committed to building the best full fibre network, and doing it sustainably is crucial for our business, the communities we serve, and the environment we all share. As part of our Let's Reach Zero strategy, we aim to lower our carbon emissions, use less and waste less material, and protect nature wherever we operate. Full fibre technology offers a faster, more reliable connection that keeps up with the demands of today's digital world. Openreach's full fibre network now reaches more than 20 million properties, and the company plans to extend this to 25 million homes and businesses by the end of 2026, with a belief it can reach as many as 30 million by the end of the decade, with the right investment conditions.
Former cinema on the market. A former cinema turned bingo hall, once a social focal point of post-World War I Bathgate, is being sold off for a cool £250,000. Opened in 1920, the pavilion in George Place is the earliest intact survivor of the George Green chain of cinemas. Their first venue opened in 1911, and they were soon regarded as Scotland's most successful cinema proprietors. The building, a rare example of a post-war cinema, was designed by John Fairweather, who was also the architect responsible for the Edinburgh Playhouse. Finally closing to cinema goers in 1967, its most recent use was as a bingo hall, with 1,067 cinema seats stripped out, but much of the classical styling and interior detailing remaining intact. The property is being marketed by Allied Surveyors Scotland. The pavilion has a rich and colourful history, enjoying a prominent position in Bathgate Town Centre, said Allied Surveyors Scotland's head of commercial agency in Scotland, Ian Mercer. The consented leisure use will be no doubt appeal to a variety of occupiers, but the building may also suit alternative initiatives. The property is being advertised on property website Rightmove. The building's brochure states the subjects comprise a former cinema and bingo hall constructed from reinforced concrete and steel frame. It is contained beneath a corrugated iron roof to the auditorium and a slate roof over the northwest block. Access is through a series of doors to the front leading to a modest foyer. The auditorium is still arranged as a bingo hall with seating and table places. To the front is a raised stage with male, female and disabled WC facilities around the perimeter. Originally, this was a cinema constructed post-World War I, and many of the Art Deco designs remain.
Chickenpox vaccine is rolled out. A vaccine which protects against chickenpox has been rolled out across the NHS for the first time. Youngsters across West Lothian will now be offered the vaccine along with the MMR jab, which protects against measles, mumps and rubella. Health experts welcome the news, saying chickenpox can be a very serious disease for some. The rollout of the vaccine could also help reduce the burden on families, they said, with many parents forced to take time off work to care for their children while they are sick. The combined jab has been used in other countries for decades, and it's part of routine childhood vaccines in the US, Canada, Australia and Germany. The rollout across the 4 nations of the UK comes after the combined MMRV jab was recommended by the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunisation in 2023. Scottish Health Secretary Neil Gray said, "This is a major step forward in protecting the health of our children into adulthood and for generations to come." Evidence from around the world shows this vaccine is safe and effective at preventing ill health in children, which also means fewer disruptions to school and work. Dr. Gayatri Amirthalingam, Deputy Director of Immunisation at the UK Health Security Agency, added, "With a vaccine now being introduced into the NHS childhood vaccination programme starting today, I hope parents will make it one of their New Year resolutions to ensure their child takes up the offer when invited." This vaccine has been used extensively for many years in a number of countries and has been shown to be highly effective with a good safety profile. The programme will have a really positive impact on the health of young children.
Dolan handed a KPM for long service with the police. A former West Lothian Police Chief Inspector has been recognised in the King's New Year's Honour List. Chief Superintendent Stevie Dolan received the King's Police Medal. Chief Superintendent Dolan has 33 years police service and is Divisional Commander for Specialist Services in Police Scotland, which incorporates armed policing and several other specialist functions. Prior to taking on this role, he was Divisional Commander for Lanarkshire Division. He also previously led the Police Scotland's Policing in a Digital World programme, a flagship initiative to deliver the national cyber strategy and policing approaches to tackle the changing nature of crime. Stevie's early career in Edinburgh from 1992 saw him perform a range of uniformed and plain-clothed roles, including in specialist armed and public order policing roles. He has a varied operational experience at each rank and has performed the roles of local area commander, operations superintendent and specialist operations superintendent across several Police Scotland divisions, including Edinburgh, West Lothian and Glasgow. He has also successfully led delivery of a national transformation programme to equip officers with mobile technology, achieving significant business benefits and organisational change. He is an experienced strategic firearms, public order, public safety, and chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear commander, and served for around 14 years as a hostage and crisis negotiator. Police Scotland Chief Constable Joe Farrell said, "I offer warm congratulations to Stevie. These honours are recognition of the skill and hard work of officers and staff who deliver for communities and keep Scotland safe."
Collision sees man arrested. A West Lothian man was arrested after a road crash during the early hours of New Year's Eve. Around 5:30 a.m. on December the 31st, emergency services rushed to the A89 at Broxburn following reports of the collision. Police were made aware of the two-vehicle incident and the road was partially blocked for some time. Dashcam footage from a car passing the scene shows a number of officers in attendance along with 4 police vehicles. A road recovery vehicle was also in attendance. One car can be seen having veered off the road into a ditch, with a second badly damaged car further down the road. A 28-year-old man has been arrested in connection with the incident. Enquiries are ongoing. A Police Scotland spokesperson said, "Around 5:30 a.m. on Wednesday, December 31st, we were called to a two-vehicle crash on the A89 Broxburn. The driver of one of the vehicles, a 28-year-old man, was arrested in connection with road traffic offences."
Traitor Star Race Plea to All. The Traitor Star Leanne Quigley is urging West Lothian locals to kickstart the new year by signing up to Cancer Research's UK Race for Life event. The charity's much-loved events will be taking place across the UK from May to July as communities go all in against cancer to raise funds for life-saving research. Anyone who signs up in January can claim 30% off the entry fee as part of a New Year's sale by using the code RFL26NY. Every year, around 36,700 people are diagnosed with cancer in Scotland. Money raised at Race for Life enables scientists to find new ways to prevent, detect and treat the disease, moving closer to a world where everyone can live longer, better lives, free from the fear of cancer. Entries are open now for the Race for Life, 3K, 5K and 10K events, which take place at Hopton House, South Queensferry, on Sunday, May 17th. The events are open to people of all ages and abilities. Leanne took part in Race for Life with her fiancée Sophie Jones after Sophie was diagnosed with breast cancer in July 2024. The couple led a team who raised more than £1,200 by completing a pretty muddy event last summer, an emotional milestone which marked the end of almost a year of treatment. Sophie, 33, who is now in remission, had 5 rounds of chemotherapy in total, followed by 2 weeks of radiotherapy to treat her 2 positive breast cancer. Cancer Research UK scientists carried out work that was key in the development of the breast cancer drug Herceptin, which is among the treatments Sophie received. They also led clinical trials to show that Herceptin improves survival. Now, this is the gold standard of care for this type of breast cancer, helping more women to survive the disease. Leanne, 30, said, "I am all in against cancer. It was incredibly hard watching Sophie, the person I love, go through cancer, and it put life into perspective. It was our gang, our close family and friends who got us through the toughest of times." Crossing the finishing line at Race for Life with these people was unforgettable. Sophie is back at work now. We're planning our wedding and our twin boys turn 3 in January, so there's plenty to look forward to. And we're supporting Race for Life to help others facing cancer right now. Cancer Research's UK Race for Life raises millions of pounds for life-saving research every year. Lisa Adams, Cancer Research's UK spokesperson in Scotland, said, "It's time for West Lothian locals to go all in against cancer. Whether you're a five-a-side crew, book club, dance troupe, yoga club, fancy doing something fun with your friends club, or on your own, we want everyone to join us. Sadly, nearly 1 in 2 of us will get cancer in their lifetime. But all of us can support the research that will beat it. Race for Life powers progress, and it relies on a whole community of people coming together, united by a common purpose to beat cancer. For those who do enjoy a challenge, our 10k events will again be chip time, perfect for anyone wanting to track their progress or aim for a personal best. But Race for Life is non-competitive. People can walk, jog or run and go at their own pace. What matters most is showing up together. There is a race for everyone, and we mean everyone. To enter, visit raceforlife.org. And that's the end of part 2, and we'll be back with part 3 very shortly. Welcome back to part 3, which is in our format, a usual quiz, the layout of which is now 6 pub quiz questions, and remember to listen in to the start of part 4 for the answers to this quiz. So here we go. Pen and paper ready if you like. Question 1. What is the first name of John Travolta's character in the 1978 film Grease? Is it Danny, Denny, or Donny? Question 2. What nationality is Mary Keltani, the winner of the women's race in the 2017 London Marathon? Was she Kenyan, South African, or Ethiopian? Question 3. Paul Donald White II is the real name of which American professional wrestler? Is it The Rock, Big Show, or Sheamus? Question 4. In which American state is the headquarters of the CIA? Is it in Delaware, Maryland, or Virginia? Question 5. Which sport is also known as the noble art? Is it golf, boxing, or cricket? And question 6. What is the capital city of the Czech Republic? Is it Sofia, Bucharest, or Prague? That's the quiz. Give you a wee while, and we'll come back in part 4 to give you the answers. Welcome back to part 4, and we'll start part 4 with the answers to the quiz. Here we go. What is the first name of John Travolta's character in the 1978 film Grease? Is it Danny, Denny, or Donny? And the answer is Danny. Question 2. What nationality is Mary Keltani, the winner of the women's race in the 2017 London Marathon? Was she Kenyan, South African, or Ethiopian? And the answer is Kenyan. Question 3. Paul Donald White II is the real name of which American professional wrestler? Is it The Rock, Big Show, or Sheamus? And the answer is Big Show. Question 4. In which American state is the headquarters of the CIA? Is it Delaware, Maryland, or Virginia? And the answer is Virginia. Question 5. Which sport is also known as the noble art? Is it golf, boxing or cricket? And I'm sure you all know it was boxing. And the last question, what is the capital city of the Czech Republic? Is it Sofia, Bucharest or Prague? And the answer is Prague. So that's the answers to the quiz. So we'll finish part 4 with some more general news.
Water result as tap success is hailed by MSP. MSP Fiona Hislop has highlighted recent figures which show that the Scottish Water tap at Linlithgow Cross has saved the equivalent of over 1,250 plastic bottles every month since it was installed in 2018. The Linlithgow tap is one of 132 taps across Scotland which have cumulatively prevented the use of over 20 million plastic bottles since 2018. Fiona said, "I was delighted to unveil West Lothian's first refill tap from Scottish Water in the heart of historic Linlithgow back in 2018. The usage of this tap since is remarkable and has prevented the use of 1,256 330ml bottles of water monthly since it was built. These taps benefit everyone, from residents to tourists, and it's now also clear how much they benefit the environment. The Scottish Water Tap scheme is made possible because the Scottish Government has kept Scotland's water under public ownership, ensuring lower bills, better service and improved access to water through schemes like this. Since 2018, when Scottish Water launched its top-up from the tap campaign, 19% more people carry a refillable bottle when on the move.
Visitors help raise £19,000 cash for Chaz. Kind-hearted visitors at the Centre Livingston have helped raise a total of almost £19,000 for its charity partner, Children's Hospices across Scotland. The charity, which has been supporting babies, children and young people with life-shortening conditions and their families for over 30 years, has also been gifted free pop-up space in the shopping centre to host their own fundraising and awareness events and marketing support. Shenza Dove, community fundraiser at Chaz, said, "We are so grateful to everyone at the Centre Livingston and to the entire community for their incredible support over the festive season. Your generosity brings light into the uncertainty many families in our care have to live with. It gives them a chance to make memories they will treasure forever." Patrick Roberts, Centre Director at the Centre Livingston, added, "Chaz is an incredible charity doing amazing work to help children and their families to create magical moments together at such a difficult time in their lives. We want to say a huge thank you to everyone who helped us raise this fantastic amount of money over the years to ensure they can continue to help more children."
Wait times for driving tests grows. New figures confirmed that learner drivers in Livingston are facing the maximum waiting time of 24 weeks for a practical driving test. The UK government has pledged to cut waiting times to 7 weeks. However, despite promises from Transport Minister Heidi Alexander that action was being taken to get Britain's drivers moving, deadlines have since been rolled back and have now been pushed back until next summer. A report from the National Audit Office has warned that the backlog for practical driving tests will not be cleared until November 2027, meaning months of delays will continue. In Scotland, the average wait to book a practical driving test is now 21.2 weeks. However, the situation in Livingston is worse, with learners facing the maximum permitted waiting time of 24 weeks. Across the UK, average waiting times have risen to 22 weeks, up from 18 weeks when Labour entered government, showing there has been no progress in tackling the backlog. Commenting, SNP MSP for Almond Valley, Angela Constance, said, "Learner drivers in Livingston are being let down, with waiting times stuck at the maximum 24 weeks. This is not just frustrating. It's holding young people back from jobs, education and everyday opportunities. Labour promised to fix this problem, but instead Livingston learners are facing months of delay and uncertainty. The UK government has the powers to act now, but it's failing to do so. People in Almond Valley deserve better." At the end of 2025, Beverly Warmington was appointed as the new Chief Executive of the Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency, DVSA, to continue work to tackle the driving test backlog and lead the delivery of test booking reforms to cut waiting times. DVSA Chair Nick Bittell said, "I'm delighted to welcome Beverly to DVSA as she takes up the role of Chief Executive in January. Her operational and transformational experience will be a huge asset across DVSA's driver, vehicle and enforcement services, especially as we continue our urgent work to help learners by reducing driving test waiting times." Changes the UK government has implemented include bringing in military driving examiners to help conduct driving tests 1 day a week for 12 months, delivering up to 6,500 more tests at the driving test centres with the highest demand near their MOD base or home location. Additionally, only learner drivers will be able to book their own tests and not instructors on their behalf, and learner drivers will only be able to make up to 2 changes to the driving test in total, including moves, swaps and location changes, before it must be cancelled and rebooked. Learner drivers will also be restricted to a limited number of test centres, which are located close to the original booking. In addition, almost 75,000 more tests have been carried out between June and November 2025, compared to the same period in 2024, as a result of overtime pay incentives for examiners.
Mum's battle to get answers as she comes to terms with a life-threatening illness. "I knew something was seriously wrong when I slept through my son's birthday. Getting a diagnosis was a relief, but I'm scared I won't see my sons growing up." A mum was diagnosed with a rare, life-threatening condition after she became so sleepy she would drift off for 24 hours straight, even napping through her son's birthday party. Holly McGugan has had problems with her health throughout her life. The 31-year-old's struggle started when she got pneumonia at 16, while she has contracted shingles 7 times since the age of 24. She spent years in and out of the doctors, but was misdiagnosed as having anxiety, depression and fibromyalgia. Last year, Holly's condition worsened dramatically, and she began to suffer with severe migraines, weight loss, extreme fatigue, brain fog and low blood pressure. She became constantly exhausted, falling asleep through all her son's birthday party, and would sometimes fall asleep for a whole day. After fighting for years to get to the bottom of the issue, she was finally diagnosed with Addison's disease in September. It is a rare condition where the adrenal glands above your kidneys don't produce enough of the hormone cortisol. This hormonal deficiency causes extreme fatigue and lack of energy and leads to a compromised immune system, which can make those with the condition more susceptible to ailments such as shingles. Following the diagnosis, the mum of two, who now has to take steroids 3 times a day for the rest of her life, says she feels relieved. However, she is also worried that she won't get to see her sons Theo, who is 8, and Zach, 6, grow up. Content creator Holly said, "I've always had trouble with my health. I had pneumonia when I was 16 and I've had shingles 7 times since I was 24. I knew something was wrong. Then last year things got worse. I couldn't keep my eyes open. I'd sleep for the entire day. I was slurring my words and I couldn't gain any weight. I crashed my car in the doctor's car park, and last November I fell asleep for the entirety of my son's birthday party. The doctors kept ignoring me, but I continued to fight. When I got diagnosed, I felt relieved that someone had finally listened to me. But now I know how serious it is. I'm scared I won't get to see my boys grow up." As Holly of Paisley is sober, regularly exercises and eats a very healthy diet, she couldn't understand why she felt exhausted and her body was in severe pain. Over the past year, her symptoms intensified and she began falling asleep with food in her mouth, leaving her unable to care for her 2 young boys. Now she has to take hydrocortisone tablets 3 times a day for the rest of her life. The nurse said, "I'd burned myself out so much from looking after everybody that I was like a phone on 2%. They measured my cortisol level and they were at 30. Whereas a normal person is at 250. So basically I was dying." Some days Holly is so exhausted that her husband Craig, 32, has to wake her up, put the tablet in her mouth and then let her go back to sleep again. Craig, who used to work away, now can't leave Holly's side and admitted that when he wakes her up so that she can take her medicine, he's checking to see if she's still alive. Holly also has to carry a hypercortisol injection that she will have to inject herself if she gets a sickness bug and isn't able to keep her medication down. She says the steroids help her keep awake, but added that when she has her period, her symptoms worsen, completely wiping her out. "My body goes into shutdown mode," she said. "I just can't handle it." The family are currently travelling in Thailand as Holly says the sun helps with her aching body. However, she says she feels guilty when she has to miss out on spending time with her children due to her condition. Despite her diagnosis, the mum tries to stay positive and is living life to the fullest in the Far East. "I feel angry and let down that I wasn't listened to for so long, but I won't let this beat me," she added. And that's the end of the news from the Courier, but please stay tuned and I'll let you know when we finally finish the recording. Now, in Team 3 recording sessions, we always include, where possible, a poem or a composition written and read by one of our team. So, before we wind up, perhaps Ray would again give us some of his compositions.
This evening I'd like to read you 2 poems. The first is called Time in Motion. It's winter first, and cold winds blow, with frequent showers of hail and snow. The ground is hard with frost below. Now comes the spring, the verdant time, with signs of growth. It is sublime when we perceive the warmer clime. The next is summer, skies are blue, trees are green, lush is the view, with flowers all of varied hue. Then autumn's here with mellow fruit, squirrels rush to hide their loot, leaves red and gold obscure the route. Another year has passed us by, gone in the twinkling of an eye. And next, because of the awful weather that we're having at the moment, I'm going to read one called The Hope of Spring. Dull days of winter out ahead, once green lushness brown and dead. We wait for spring, the verdant time, when warmth returns and shoots will climb towards the sun. But wait, what's this? A breath of hope, it's nature's kiss of life, to lift our spirits high, to please our eyes and make us sigh with joy. The snowdrop white, a splash of colour shining bright, reminding us of days ahead when weather's fine and flowers spread. Then we'll forget when winter came that we had played our waiting game.
Thank you very much, Ray. And now we've come to the end of this week's recordings, and we hope you have enjoyed it. When you have finished listening to this recording, can I remind you to place the USB stick in the wallet, reverse the label so that the cutout corner is on the top right-hand side, and post it back to us as soon as possible. And remember, wallets should only be posted in a post box. Please do not post them in the post office. So, it's goodbye from the members of our team.
Ferine,
Nan,
and Ray.
Goodbye from Andrew, our engineer, and again from Ray, our distributor, and from me, Jim. Bye now.
goodbye.
Bye.
bye.